Now, over the years, you've done loads of things trying to encourage people to get involved in sport, haven't you? We're going to talk now about Parkrun,
one of the
which
big
is
success
extraordinary
stories.
success.
We did a piece on Breakfast, I think, in its 10th anniversary, which was about 3 years ago now. Well, Paul Sinton Hewitt, the founder. Just so simple, it's free. And the worst thing about working on Saturday mornings, every Saturday on Breakfast, I love it, but we can't do Parkrun, can we?
And it's 5 kilometres.
5 million. Yeah, it's 5K, but you were talking about milestones, 10th anniversary. Now they've just signed up their 5 millionth.
And it's spread all over the world. My sister will be there this morning, Bushy Park, doing it alongside Paul. Yeah, they get hundreds and hundreds doing it at every location.
Let's go to Bushy Park now, which is where it all started. Our reporter Mark Ashdown is there for us. Morning, Mark.
Morning, how are you?
Not bad
Well,
at
as you
all.
say, if you are up and about, if you're bright and breezy and up and about on a Saturday like we all are in a place like this, if you go anywhere near a bit of green space, let's face it, anywhere in the UK, the chances are you will come across a park run, as you mentioned. Now, it does pretty much what it says on the tin. It's a bunch of people in a park running around, and it has become, as you say, a bit of a national institution, and it all comes down to one man 14 years ago, 14th anniversary today, Paul Sinton Hewitt. You came up with the idea. 5 million people doing it. I mean, that must feel a little bit bizarre now.
Yeah, it is wonderful. We've got 5 million people registered and about 3.2 million people who've actually done a park run across 20 countries and 1,500 parks that are all waking up right now, getting ready to go and do their park run. It's fantastic.
Blowing away the cobwebs. So take us back to when you came up with it. How did you come up with the idea? And talk us through, for the uninitiated, what exactly it is.
Okay, well, firstly, Parkrun is a free weekly timed run where it's completely managed by volunteers in your local park. It's for local communities. I started it 14 years ago because I was suffering a little bit of depression, and I thought the best thing I could do to get out of that cycle was to bring my friends to the park. So I invited everybody, said, you come down, do the thing you love, I'll do all the work, but we have to go for coffee afterwards. And
Does that defeat the object though? Coffee and cake afterwards?
Coffee and cake. It's still one of the most fantastic things about Parkrun. The run is important. It gets us active, it gets the blood flowing, it's all those sorts of things. But it's actually what happens between you and your mate at the park and afterwards that really, that's what makes it special.
Yeah, and it is sort of competitive. You can do your time, but it's really all about all abilities, all ages, and volunteers as well coming and helping.
The volunteers is probably the most important thing. You know, these people want to do something good for their community, for their friends, and it gives them a massive self-worth. So they're the most amazing thing about Parkrun, and it's just lovely.
And there is a slight competitive element, I suppose.
Yes.
Do people get quite into it? Do people sort of, compete with each other?
Everybody is looking to do some sort of personal best. No matter where you are on the scale, from 45 minutes to 15 minutes, everybody wants to improve by a little bit. So all those improvements are important. Obviously, we have very, very fast runners, and then we have people who walk, and we're very, very proud of our walkers. Our average run time has dropped significantly over the 14 years, and that's an indication of more and more people getting active.
And it is, as I mentioned earlier, it's for all abilities. I mean, anybody can just come and have a go. It's open to all, and it's free.
Absolutely. In this park, we have Elizabeth, who is in a wheelchair. She gets rolled out by her care home every Saturday morning, puts on a high-vis vest, sits on the corner, and she's part of the team. So we try to make this for everybody. We try and break down all the barriers so that everybody can participate.
Okay, and there is a record.
Of course
What's the male record?
I think it's Andrew Badley, who the day after he dropped out of the 5,000 metres in the Olympics 2012, he ran, I think it was 13:23.
13:23, right, okay. Well, that sounds, I think I could have a go at that, yeah. Although, I don't know, it's a bit overcast, it's a bit, underfoot's a bit dry. Naga, what do you think though? You're a bit sporty. 16 minutes, you fancy that as a record?
16 minutes for 5K? No, I'd be happy. I would be happy. I think
16 minutes for 5K?
No, definitely not. I think the most I've ever done, and this isn't outside, because I think running outside's harder than running on a treadmill. The most I've ever done is like 22 minutes, 5K. But I couldn't do it outside, no way. But
that's not bad, that's very good. That's very good.
I doff my cap to everyone who's running them today. I'm going to try to see if we can get Mike's sister on to talk to us a little later, because she's doing that one where you are today. Oh,
I don't think Mark heard what we were saying. It's just we were making the point. Mark, thank you very much. Mike, apparently, his sister is down there doing the run
she's
today.
to
And
do.
the point about, I suppose one of the points about the parkrun thing, never done one myself, is that the time thing is absolutely irrelevant, isn't it? All you want to do, you just want people turning up and they run, and that's nice.
Yeah, and it's all about your personal time as well. So just improving yourself if you want to, or just getting out and running in company. It's nice.
8:54 is the time now. So they may not have known it at the time, but when 13 amateur runners gathered in the South London Park 14 years ago, they were about to start a running revolution.
So how long do you think it would get them to hit 5 million?
Well, I mean, that's an incredible achievement. Isn't it?
They've just signed out their 5 millionth member. It's Parkrun we're talking about. A free timed 5K run takes place hundreds of parks across the world every weekend. And yeah, 5 million people have signed up.
Our reporter Mark Ashdown is in Hampton, where it all began all those years ago. Big gathering with you there, Mark. Morning to you.
Morning, hi. Yeah, they just had a presentation here actually, because this is exactly where it all started all that time ago. And if you go anywhere on a Saturday morning these days, anywhere near a park, the chances are you will see a park run. I'm sure most people don't need any explanation, but it's basically people running around a park, a bit more organised than your average jogger. Well, all those years ago, as you say, it was one guy who started it, but there was 13 people originally. James here is one of them. You're one of the original 13. Did you imagine it was ever get like this?
Never in 1,000 years could you imagine that after having 13 runners, you now get a 1,700 turn up at a park run. As you said, park run is it's more than a run now. It's a family gathering, it's friends, it's a community, it's an event, and it gets people out of bed, and it gets us together as a community, and it's just a great innovation. We love it.
And a family as well. You brought your 2 boys here. You guys, did you have to sort of slow down and wait for him when you're running around together?
Only at times, really.
Yeah. But I understand you've actually beaten Dad recently.
Yeah, I did the PB 21:06 and I beat him by half a minute.
21 minutes for 5K?
Yeah.
And how old are you?
11.
Oh, that's odd. You're making me feel really old then. Well, listen, this is not just about running. It's also about sort of community, really, socialising. Ray and Anne, you guys, you were running originally, but now you help out with the sort of volunteer side of things as well, don't you?
Well, we looked after this event for about 8 years. Paul described us this morning as the grandmother and grandfather of Parkrun, so we're
Paul
not
the
quite
founder.
sure how to take it. Yeah, so we've been involved heavily with this lot. Yeah, as we started running, and then we got injured, small injury, that's all. I ended up volunteering and looked after the event for about 7 years. So.
And Anne, you've got the finish tokens in your bag. What does that mean? You're the all important.
Well, at the end of the run, we give out these finish tokens so people know what time they've done, what position they're in. And today we've got 1,650, so fingers crossed we don't have more runners than
After that,
Wow.
we've got paper tokens.
And fingers crossed the weather holds. I understand you bring the weather as well, don't you?
I keep the rain away until about 10:30 every Saturday, yeah.
Well, that's very good of you. Well, listen, good luck. Thank you, Robertson. So your days of running are over then? You're not going to run today?
No, I run regularly.
you still run?
Yes.
I limp, I plod.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
The thing is, we volunteer and run. It's such a lovely community. We just want to stay part of it for as long as we can.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. Well, listen, we know Mike, back in the studio, is a bit of a runner himself. I'm delighted to say, got his sister here, Jane. You're about to do it.
Yes, it's a fantastic way of getting fresh air and exercise on a Saturday morning. So I come if I'm free on a Saturday, I always come. And this is going to be about my 154th.
Wow.
So at Bushy, and then I've done Bedfont, and I've also done Whitley Bay Parkrun because my sister lives up in Whitley Bay. But I think Bushy is my favourite just because of the beautiful park, and sometimes see the deer, and the community spirit as well.
I saw the deer.
Fantastic.
Saw the deer this morning. Do you ever run together then, you and Mike? Is there a bit of sibling rivalry there?
We have done, yes.
Who's better?
I think he picked me to the post last time we did park runs. So yeah, and I sometimes run with my son and husband as well, but they're both a lot quicker than me.
Well, they're all watching the studio. So Naga, what do we think, Charlie? What do we think of Jane here? Better than Mike?
Well, we'll leave it to Mike.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jane, that's very kind of you to say what you just said, but now I bet you beat me.
No, I mean, he's always been very competitive.
Hold on. What was that? Sorry.
I'm sure Jane would beat me now, because I think she does it every week at the moment. I haven't done a park run for quite a while.
What did he say?
I need to get back into shape. And
He says you'd beat him now.
I think you'd beat me now.
Is that a challenge then, Mike? Is that a challenge?
But when he used to watch Match of the Day when we were young, he wouldn't let me in the room because he said I brought bad luck.
That's right,
So
you
I
did.
haven't ever forgiven him for that.
And if Leeds are playing, I still wouldn't let you in the room.
Who's older, Mike? You or Jane?
So, me by 2.5 years.
You by 2.5 years. Jane, was Mike a bit of a bully then as a brother? Because he's so sweet
now. Was Mike a bit of a
now.
bully as a brother? Oh, that's a bit harsh.
Not really, no. He used to organise funny games, and when it came to sport, he was always very competitive.
Was he very competitive?
Yes,
You
well,
have to be
I wasn't.
competitive.
I picked daisies while playing football when my dad was running the football team, so I was never, I was really good.
There you go. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, I'm running now. Yes.
Lovely seeing you both down there.
See you guys.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. It's a little insight into
Too much information.
We enjoyed it.
But there's a
Even
challenge
really
now
good.
set up for half time. I'll take Jane on and get over 5K.
Very good. We'll have the headlines coming up for you in just a moment.
May not have known it at the time. 13 amateur runners gathered in a South London park 14 years ago. They were about to start a running revolution.
Yes, the gathering developed into Parkrun. You've probably heard of it. It's free. It's a timed 5-kilometre run. It takes place in hundreds of parks right across the world every weekend. The event has just signed up its 5 millionth member.
Mark Ashdown is in Hampton Park, where it all began. And Mark, I expect you're tempted to take part this morning as well as talking to some of the runners.
Oh, morning to you. Yeah, I wish I had. It's a little bit chilly here, I've got to say. They've got the right idea, the runners. They've been running since we were with us last about an hour ago. Most of them have just finished now. This is the finish line here. You can see the balloons there. It is the 14th anniversary of this, of course. All the runners have come around here. They're finishing. They get their tokens and then go for a cup of tea. And that's probably, the best part of the day for most of them. I'm delighted to say they were joined here, though, by the family of the year, the Parkrun family of the year. Now, this is all about not just running, but coming out as a family, I guess, as well.
Yep.
Jenny,
Yep.
you've been doing it for quite a while now. Was it a surprise getting Family of the Year?
It was a big surprise getting Family of the Year. We were really, really chuffed. We've been coming here, Andrew and I, for 9 years.
Yeah.
And then as we've had the children, they've started running. We've run with them in the running buggies, and then they've started running as soon as they've been big enough to get around the course.
And you all go around together then? You all sort of pace yourselves?
Sometimes we go around together, or this one's quite speedy, so sometimes she goes with Daddy and they go very fast together. But it depends how we're feeling on the day.
Yeah. Andrew, I mean, it's not many sports, I guess, you could do as the whole family. Is that the appeal?
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing to come down here on a Saturday morning and just run together as a family, or split up and go. The little one will go faster or slower, or push them in the buggy. It's just really nice to come down here every week.
Yeah. And what do you guys think of it then? You enjoy it? You have good fun, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not too cold?
No.
It was a bit chilly this morning.
Yes.
Okay, well listen, very well done. And what does Parkrun Family of the Year mean then? I mean, as I say, it was a surprise.
It's just a massive surprise. I mean, we come down here most weeks and, we really enjoy coming down. We've got a lot of friends down here. So it's just really nice that they've kind of given it to us, really.
Okay, well listen, thank you very much indeed for joining us. And as you say, there are 5 million people now taking part in Parkrun all over the UK. It's supposed to keep you, well, of course, it keeps you healthy and happy. If you go anywhere on a Saturday morning around about 9 o'clock, find a green space, there'll be one near you.
Thanks very much. Been lovely seeing people get ready for that
Almost
today.
makes me feel like getting out there and doing a run myself.
Do it. Go on.
Nearly.
Whatever you're doing this weekend, do enjoy it. Rachel and Ben will be with you from 6 o'clock tomorrow. In case you just need a little bit more inspiration, have the view of the Parkrun down in West London. Have a lovely weekend.
Bye-bye.